Hello, student drivers. Great to see you again. This time we shall be talking about proper vehicle parking and other driving provisions. Let's get started by showing you this picture. A shiny white car parked right beside a fire hydrant. In the background is a parked fire engine. But the car's windows, it's broken, really badly broken as a fire hose hangs through the window. Now, this could be one of the worst things that could happen to your car or any other vehicle when it is parked at the wrong place at the wrong time. Authorities, in this case, the firemen, have the prerogative to do everything in their power to discharge their rightful duties when necessary. Do you want this to happen to your vehicle? No, I guess not. Aside from the physical damages incurred, you will surely pay a hefty fine, do community service, and may even be incarcerated for a time. Another possible costly consequence for not properly parking your vehicle, either in public or in private parking spaces, is to get it towed. I hope this will not happen to you ever. So let's bear in mind the guidelines in proper parking of RA 4136, otherwise known as the Transportation and Traffic Code of the Philippines. This way, we will surely avoid unnecessary worries. On the top of the list is to know the areas where parking is prohibited. What are they? In an intersection, on the crosswalk, within 6 meters of the intersection, 4 meters from the driveway entrance, as well within 4 meters from a fire hydrant, in front of a private driveway, on the roadway side of any unmoving or parked MV at the curb or edge of the highway, and at any place where signs of prohibitions have been installed. Do you all get it, student drivers? Let us remember the above-mentioned prohibitions carefully. Let's move on to other provisions for safe driving. Let us remember we must never allow bicycles, motorcycles, and skate rollers to hitch when we drive. This is dangerous for them, especially if you brake suddenly. Apart from emergencies and overtaking, driving in the oncoming lane, or what we call counterflow, is strictly prohibited under normal circumstances. Never do that. You will only cause or worsen a heavy traffic. In Section 34-I, it says, and I quote, "Whenever the load of any vehicle extends more than 1 meter beyond the bed or body thereof, there shall be displayed at every projecting end of such a load a red flag, not less than 30 centimeters, both in length and width, except that during the hours fixed under subsection, there shall be displayed, in lieu of the required red flags, red lights visible at least 50 meters away." Hence, future drivers, the red flags or red lights that you will display in your car will be essential to the safety of your fellow drivers and other road users. Let me also stress this. The law specifically states that it must be red, flag-shaped or square, and not just anything to be attached such as fabric or plastic. When using the red flag lights, remember to switch it on not later than 1/2 hour after sunset and until at least 1/2 hour before sunrise. If it is raining or you are driving in bad weather conditions, you will be required to switch on both of your red flag lights, okay? We will now proceed with the topic of mufflers. Here's the thing. The law also states that every motor vehicle propelled by an internal combustion engine shall be equipped with a muffler, and whenever said motor vehicle passes through a street of any city, municipality, or thickly populated district or barrio, the muffler shall not be cut out or disconnected. In short, if the muffler is cut out or disconnected, it will make an annoying noise that can also be a distraction to other motorists and road users. Aside from the noise, this law specifically states that no motor vehicle shall be operated in such a manner as to cause it to emit or make any unnecessary or disagreeable odor, smoke, or noise. From mufflers, let us discuss the tires of motor vehicles. I will address this to student drivers who are planning to be drivers or operators of large construction vehicles such as bulldozers, backhoes, rollers, or cranes. Since these vehicles have metallic or solid tires, let's remember, never drive them upon any public highway. Why? The sharp and hard rollers of the said vehicles can damage the cemented pavements. What should you do to transport these kinds of vehicles? Load them in a large truck. I hope that is clear. Now, let me get your attention to discuss a very serious topic. Your duty as a driver in case of a road crash. We at DriveSafe PH strongly believes that proper road safety education will keep you and others safe. However, road crash is inevitable. And if this happens to you, remember that as a driver, it is your responsibility to show your driver's license to the police officer or traffic enforcer. You must also state your real name and address, as well as the name and address of the owner of the motor vehicle that you are using, just in case the car does not belong to you. Next, you should not leave the scene of the road incident without helping or aiding the injured. There are only 3 exceptions here. First, if you, the driver, thinks you are in danger of being hurt by other people because of the road crash. Second, you may leave the scene if you are planning to report the road crash incident to the nearest police station. And lastly, if you call a physician or emergency responders to help the road crash victim or victims. Please remember these things. I will now show you a picture. Take a look at this as we discuss the other driving rules. What do you think is happening here? Have you noticed a person or a pedestrian blocking the oncoming motorcyclist? It doesn't look like motorcyclists are on the road, and it's like a sidewalk. Do you think the action of the person is correct? Of course! He is just doing the right thing, which is redirecting the bad motorcycle drivers to the right lane of the road. In Section 52 of RA 4136, it is prohibited to maneuver or park a vehicle on any sidewalk, lane, or small tunnel that is not intended for traffic or as parking. Allow me to reiterate. If it is not intended for vehicular traffic or parking, that sidewalk or alley belong to the pedestrians. While in Section 54 of the same law, reminds drivers, both private and public utility drivers, to drop off or load passengers in the designated loading and unloading zones. Violating this law will make you an obstruction to the free passage of other vehicles, especially on the highway. Never do that. Respect the signs, all right? Student drivers, before we end this lesson, these are the other driving rules that you should keep in mind based on Republic Act 4136. Section 34C, RA 4136. Red lights are not allowed at the front of a motor vehicle. Also, the allowable height of top clearance lights must be 10 centimeters. Section 34D, RA 4136. Tail lights must be red and visible within 100 meters. Plate lamp must be white. Section 34E, RA 4136. Bright red must be the color of brake lights. Remember also that the redness of the brake lights should be brighter than the tail lights. Before we end the discussion, let us talk about imitation and false representation, which is prohibited in Section 31 of RA 4136. What are these? First, sticking a sticker to the vehicle that could possibly give you undue preference or privilege as a motorist. Examples of this are MD stickers that indicate that the doctor is driving the vehicle. It is alright if you are indeed a medical doctor, but if not, you are clearly doing the false representation. Another example is pretending to be a media practitioner by placing media stickers on your vehicle. Lastly, place information on your vehicle to pretend as a law enforcer or a member of the armed forces. Remember, no one is above the law. You may face serious charges when you violate traffic rules and regulations, and also pretend to be someone else, especially in authority. Remember also, in Section 32, it is forbidden to exceed the number of passengers and the registered capacity of the vehicle. It is considered a hazard if you allow passengers on top of your vehicle, not even on the running boards. also known as stepping boards. This should never be used as a riding auxiliary. In addition, Section 33 of the same law says, all passengers' automobiles for hire shall have the registered passenger capacity plainly and conspicuously marked on both sides thereof, in letters and numerals not less than 5 centimeters in height. Even motor trucks, whether for passenger or freight, private or for hire, shall have the registered passenger gross and net weight capacities plainly and conspicuously marked on both sides thereof, in letters and numerals not less than 5 centimeters in height. Section 34 talks about specific provisions on the use of motor vehicle accessories, particularly the vehicle brakes, horns, motorcycles, lights when parked or disabled, and windshield wiper. Other driving rules are indicated in sections 35, 36, 38, and 47 through 50, and section 53 that pertain to matters such as speed restriction throughout the Philippines, classification of highways on parked vehicles, reckless driving, right-of-way for police and other emergency vehicles, tampering with vehicles and driving under influence, as further elaborated on RA 10586, otherwise known as an act penalizing persons driving under the influence of alcohol, dangerous drugs, and similar substances. You may read these driving rules with the link we will provide below. And that ends our discussion on Module 6, fellow drivers, all about parking rules and other provisions on safe and proper driving. I believe you are ready to take another quiz to test what you have learned. Enjoy!